Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV of Frederick, Colorado. My name is Michaela. This morning I'm taking you guys through a custom built Cimarron 8-horse Midtack Front Tack. This one is super cool. I'm really excited to show it to you guys. There's a lot of cool custom design features on these, and that's why I like to bring you these trailers, even though they're not available for sale. Hopefully it gives you guys some ideas of exactly what you can do to make your Cimarron fit your needs. So before we get to our trailer here in person, we're gonna go ahead and pull up that drawing and just run through your overhead view together. So we're looking at 8 feet wide, 7 feet 7 inch tall on this one, so extra wide, extra tall. We have a total floor length of 42 feet. On our driver's side, we have a short wall of 6 foot front tack, 6 foot mid tack, and then back in that stall area, we did a 2 foot offset. So you're looking at a 28 by 30 stall length there. We do have an 8 foot nose on this one. So we're looking at a total nose to tail all the way back there of 50 feet long. And that's kind of why we did that 2 foot offset back in that stall area instead of the standard 4 foot, was to just try and save as much as we could, but still get everything that my customers wanted in this trailer. And there's a lot of neat features. So go ahead and just hang with me as we get to this trailer here. We're gonna start at our front tack. Like I said, this is your 6 foot front tack, and it is a straight wall on this part. So we're looking at 6 feet straight across. On this side, we did go ahead and do that drop down ramp. Just makes your life a whole lot easier climbing in and out of this trailer versus stepping in and out all the time. I've got a lot of customers that will do a door on one side and this ramp on this passenger side here for sheer convenience, and all I get is positive feedback about how easier that is to climb in and out. Still kept that swing out saddle rack though, so you can still access these guys with your ramp down. Very easy to just step in here and grab your saddles off of here. And this is kind of mimicking our dual tack setup. So you're gonna see the same stuff on the other side. We have 5 saddle racks right here. Because we're 7'7" tall, we could sneak another one on there and not get too squished here. These are my favorite Cimarron, or my favorite saddle racks that I've ever hauled with. I've hauled a lot of other manufacturers out there. These guys are the best. I've never had one of my saddles fall off. I really like the carpet for grip factor, but I also really like this plastic piece. Cimarron actually owns this extrusion right here. They've done a lot of trial and error to see what exactly fits and kind of mimics your horse's withers by getting up in the gullet of your saddle. So it keeps your saddle on there really well. And as always, this is gonna be fully adjustable. So you guys can slide these up and down wherever you need to. I know these customers specifically are fox hunters, so they're probably not worried about cutting saddles with those taller horns and spacing these guys out. They're probably gonna work with it how it is, but if you guys need to change anything, if you wanna just take one off and space these out, you can always do whatever you guys need to and what fits you best. We'll go and climb in here and check out what we have going on inside of this front tack. As you come in down at the floor, we do have black rubber mats on here. So this is gonna be an upgrade from the carpet. Standard is gonna be this carpet right here on the floor. I've got this carpet on the floor of my Cimarron at home. This is 2017, before we kind of changed a lot of this stuff. And it is not ideal. It's great if you're using your space as like a comfort package or a dressing room, but if you're gonna be using it as tack, climbing in and out of here with muddy, wet, snowy, icy boots, it's not ideal to have carpet on your floor. So we have these black rubber mats, which is gonna be great. Helps keep it a lot cleaner. It's not gonna stain your carpet. If you do get some moisture in here, it's really easy to just sweep it up or mop it up. Really easy, again, to just keep this space a lot cleaner for you guys. And then coming up to our front wall, down below we have an 18-inch boot box. So this is gonna be 18-inch deep. You guys can choose from a 12 or an 18-inch deep. I like the 18-inch deep because it just allows for more versatility. If you can fit it in your front tack, definitely worth the upgrade. We have split lids on this guy, but it leads to the same space. And why we love this 18-inch deep is because you can actually fit a 5-gallon bucket down in here. If it were the 12-inch width, you can't quite get it in there. So this just allows for a lot more storage space in here. We do have a 30-amp power pack on this trailer. So this is gonna be your shore power cord. And that's because we have some outlets throughout this trailer. So to power those outlets, we've got our 30-amp power cord right there. And then over on this side, we do have cameras installed. And this is something we do here at Transwest. Specifically, this is not done at Cimarron. This is something our techs do as soon as it gets here. So this customer went ahead and added a camera in their Midtack, which we'll check out. We've got 2 in our stall area, and then we've got 1 at the reverse as well. And then you just get this monitor. You're going to plug it into power. That's all it needs. You plug it into power and you set it in your tow vehicle. And why we love these guys so much is because it's not hardwired into your tow vehicle. So your truck breaks down, your buddy volunteers to drive, you guys end up in a different truck for one reason or another, you can take this with you. Your cameras are wired into your 7-pin. So as long as your 7-pin is plugged in and this is plugged into power, you guys will have your camera visibility on here. You can toggle between all your screens. You can see them all at once. You can do split screens, or you can just see one at a time. But really love this camera system. Lots of great feedback on this. So these customers went ahead and had that done here. And then we also have our 10-foot water hose right here. And that's because we have a 48-gallon water tank right over there. So that's going to be your flat back, half moon style. So flat back fits perfectly right up against here. And we just carried our boot box all the way to max width here to where we would just have enough space for that left. So you're going to get a lot of water storage capacity on board of this trailer. We've got 8 horses behind us. So whatever we can do to maximize water storage and keep them hydrated, always great to be able to just bring water on the road with you. Fills up at the top, and then again you'll have your 10-foot hose for down there. You can always run it out your tack room as well to wash horses off. You can always fill buckets out there as well. And then right here we do have this 4-inch tall removable tube. So you guys can pull the pin and take this out if you don't want it, change your mind, don't need it. It's not permanent. So I like that, but also great for if you're using this as storage up here. You don't ever have to worry about anything sliding off. I've got my Cimarron at home. My nose is filled with stuff. I keep it probably at least up to here. I don't put anything from here back, and I've never had anything slide off. But if you're jam packing it full and you're wanting to run stuff all the way up to the end, it's so nice to just not have to worry about anything flying off while you're driving. Full carpet up here. We've got bus windows on each side so you can get some ventilation throughout that space. We've got one of those OptiBrite LEDs up in there as well, so you can have the visibility and see on each side. Right hand side up high, we have a plexiglass storage tray. So on this trailer we have full drops on head side, and then we have stock sides with plexi on hip side. So once you want to pull those out in the summer and you're running it wide open, you can store your plexi in there. We always do recommend take out one row all together first, tape it together with that blue masking tape and label it high side or low side, and then put it in there. So that way you just know when you go to put it back in your trailer which is which. And then both sides up high, we have a closed bar on each side. So plenty of good hanging space in here to utilize hanging up extra clothes, jackets, rain gear, anything like that you guys need to hang up. You've got tons of space up there for that. And then coming down here on left hand side, we've just got our breaker box right here for a 30 amp power pack with an outlet right here. So if you guys are spending the night in here and you need to plug in like a portable space heater, you want to plug in your horse clippers, you want to plug in a radio, I mean, I don't know, possibilities are endless, but you have this right here. So as long as you're plugged into shore power, you have outlets. And then back behind me, we just have a regular man door over here. This is going to be that 42-inch swing still. So it's that same oversized door that you guys know and love on our RTG front tacks. This will also swing out. I don't want it to interfere with that door, so we'll swing it out when we get over there. We've got our light switch right here. So I mentioned the OptiBrite in the nose. We also have one over each of these doors. So one over our man door, one over our side ramp. Lots of visibility in this space, shining bright down into here so you can always see what you're doing. If you are getting ready early in the morning or late at night and it's dark outside, these customers were big on lights and visibility, so we wanted to make sure we really did a good job with that for them. And then over here on our partition wall, fully carpeted. I always love a fully carpeted partition wall. I've got it on my Cimarron at home, and I just love, first of all, giving it a clean, finished, full coverage look, but then also what it does for protecting this wall. You've got 2 rows of bridle hooks, so you can hang stuff high and hang stuff low, but you're always going to have some sort of metal piece on whatever you hang, whether it's just a concho, a Chicago screw, a snap, a buckle, a lead rope clip. Anything that you hang on here is going to have some metal. So that carpet right there is really going to protect your trailer. We don't want those black streaks, so it helps maintain resale value, protects your equipment, and then also keeps it quieter. This side, we don't have horses on the other side of this wall, but we do have hounds. This is going to be their dog box next door. So keeping it quieter, a better ride for those dogs back there by not having that loud metal on metal banging. But tons of good hanging space right here with those 2 rows. So we'll go ahead and step out and work our way back. As I mentioned, we have a mid-tack, just what we're gonna call it on this one. Our short wall on driver's side is 6 feet, and then with that 2-foot offset, we do have an 8-foot long wall on this side. Also did a side ramp getting up in this side as well. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put this one up real quick so I can show you guys. It looks the same as that front tack in that it has this heavy duty. We went ahead and upgraded the heavy duty cam latches right here. So instead of just having your swing over butterfly latches mounted on each side, have this heavy duty cam latch that's gonna lock it and give it a really good tight seal. And that's gonna be the same on that front tack ramp. And then this one is gonna be our hound box. So knowing that we'll be parked somewhere and have dogs in here, we did go ahead and add this gate over this entrance point. And you guys we'll see that on a lot of like our show trailers, whether it's the show cattle, especially the show cattle. We'll see that at our side ramps and then our man doors. So kind of mimicking that. It's really cool with Cimarron that you can watch all these videos, look at all these trailers across the board and pick and choose your options and add it to whatever you need to fit your trailer. But this way it gives the dogs a nice hangout spot. You guys can fully open it up and get that airflow through here and keep them contained in this space. So starting down below, we did go ahead and do that Werm flooring in here. I know initially we were gonna leave it just bare aluminum because I guess these dogs like to chew on stuff. So the less that they can destroy, the better. But then also we got a little bit worried about temperature control of that aluminum under their paws. So went ahead and added this Werm flooring, which is a great insulation factor. It'll keep them nice in here, a little bit warmer when it's cold, a little bit cooler when it's hot, and then they're really not gonna be able to chew this up. This is a permanent pour-in floor, so good heavy duty there as well. And then moving up, we did go ahead and do that kick mat all the way around. And we did line and insulate. So standard in horse trailers of Cimarron will be their lined and insulated walls. Went ahead and carried that up here into this space, again to help with that temperature control for the hounds in this box. And then went with the kick mat all the way up high here. So it gives a little bit more rugged durability there. And then working behind me, on each side of this man door, we're gonna have a D-ring. So favored in front of this door and then right behind this door. So that way when you set your 5-gallon bucket, they have these specific buckets that they use to water their dogs out of. They measured and they were able to tell us exactly how tall they wanted this D-ring. So that's what we mean when we say fully custom. You wanted a certain measurement off the floor, you tell us and Cimarron makes it happen. So their bucket will sit here, probably come up to about there, and then they can snap it in. And that way they can water their dogs and not worry about their dogs tipping it over and spilling it. Same gate over here over your man door, so you can add these over man doors or side ramps. Again, just keeping them contained but being able to fully open up this space for airflow. You guys can open them in or out. And then up above this door, we went ahead and did another Optibright LED right here. We're gonna have one over man door, one over side ramp. So good visibility shining down into this space as well. And then the first of our cameras is gonna be right here. This switch turns this light on, and we always like to, well, we have to, when we wire in our cameras, we have to have a power source, right? So we always wire them into a light. Back there, we're gonna have wired into marker lights outside. This one here is wired into this light. So as long as you flip this light on, your camera will be on as well. So now you guys can see what your hounds are doing when you're driving down the road. Up front, you can see them from your truck. Make sure everything's going good back here. Up top, we have 3 of these 2-way roof vents. Love these roof vents. I tell everyone when I walk through trailers is that Cimarron is really big into fit and finish. It's not just the structural piece of these trailers that makes them top tier, it's the fit and finish. So all the way down into something small such as your roof vents. These are very durable, very heavy duty, and very easy to use. I don't have any issues. Even though I'm up on my tippy toes, I've got gloves on, I can still fully work them both directions. And we have 3 of them in here. So you can really manipulate the airflow in this space. Probably what you do up here was you want to favor at least 1 or 2 forward and be drawing that air in, and then that back one, favor it open backwards, get that really good circulation through this space. And then over here we also have fans. So part of that 30 amp power package up front was we wanted these big 18-inch fans in here to give them more air movement. So if you are sitting and you have these doors open, but it's kind of stagnant and you're not getting a breeze in here, now we have these big 18-inch fans. So we've got them mounted on this airliner track up high, so you can kind of move them if you want to move them to either side. I think they fit really well in this space where Cimarron's got them put. And then we have an outlet behind each one. And I know they mentioned dogs like to chew, so we're probably going to do something with this and get this wrapped up there. But you'll have the ability to now really push some air through this space. And again, priority keeping our animals comfortable. And we do have a pass-through into our stall area here. So if you were working in between these two spaces, using your front one for storage, trying to get in and out with your dogs or your horses, you have a full pass-through into each space. Now as we step out and work our way back down tail side, I want to get back to my lights. Starting up at top, we went ahead and just really added a bunch of marker lights top rail. I know these customers were big on visibility. They do travel a lot in the dark hours, whether it's early in the morning or late at night. They wanted to be able to see their trailer behind them. So we went ahead and did 20 marker lights down their top rail so they could see exactly where this full length trailer was. And then we did 3 of those oversized 16-inch awning LEDs down the top rail on each side as well. So we've got one favored up in front of those side ramps. I've got one right here about halfway in your stock area, and then one at the very back as well, carrying that visibility back and around that trailer. So lots of lights on this one. While you're up there, we do have a 12-foot sheeted hay rack. So it's not a pod, there's no lid on this one, but it is sheeted sides, so it'll be protected all the way around in color match. So it fits in really nice, and that is a 12-foot rack up there. And then I mentioned down below, we did have the stock sides on this one. So you got your plexiglass in there. Full length, you guys can take that out and store it up front in that plexiglass tray. When you want to take it out, you're just gonna look for your cutouts. So whenever you see the cutout in the aluminum, my fingers are not very happy with me today, so I'm not gonna do it. But all you gotta do is stick your fingers back behind there. If your fingers aren't happy with you and you still need to pull them out, get yourself a pocket knife or a flat screwdriver. All you want to do is just get a little bit behind there, and then you can slide them out. So really there's no tools required. You don't have to go all the way to the back. You don't have to screw a piece of trim, pull off the trim, and slide them all the way back there. You just got to get your fingers back behind there and slide them out and take them up to the front. So super easy to use, super convenient. When you want to throw them back in or take them out, you can do it pretty quickly. And then down this side, we've got 8 of those tie rings. So you can tie up on any side. And then back here, we do have an amber turn signal. So because of how wide this trailer is, how long this trailer is, we want everyone else on the road to know when we're changing lanes and when we're braking. So that amber turn signal will indicate when you're changing lanes, but also when you step on that brake pedal. And then down below, triple axle, we've got Dexter Airflex axles. So they're 8K air rides. We're looking at 19.5s. We did upgrade last minute. We were originally on 17.5s, but we wanted even more clearance from the ground, so we went ahead and changed that to the 19.5. You got the beefy Continentals on it, and then those Alcoa wheels. Because this trailer is air ride and it is a triple axle, something that is exclusive to Transwest here is our air dump system. We do it on our front axle. So there's a stigma when it comes to triple axles, right? There's some manufacturers that won't even build them. There's a lot of people that just don't want to buy them. They don't want to deal with it because of when you turn, it causes a lot more tension and tweaking on these axles. It can knock it out of alignment super easily. So what we do when we have a triple axle air ride is we add this air dump, and it comes with a remote, a key fob remote. So when you're sitting up in the passenger seat or the driver's seat of your truck, I guess you could do it from the passenger as well, but when you're up in your truck and you're driving, you don't have to get out, you don't have to push any buttons, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is push on, and you guys can actually hear it. I don't know if you can hear in the video, but you can physically stand here and hear it. What it's doing is it's taking all the air away from your front axle. So it's not going to lift this trailer or this axle up off the ground. You're not going to have air gap between this tire and the road, but because it takes all the air away, it's pushing all the weight back here to these two. So you only want to utilize this when you're going slow, especially like in a parking lot like this and you need to make a sharp turn. You could do it on probably some gravel or some hard dirt as well when you want to make that sharp turn and you don't want to tweak that axle right there. It's going to push all your weight back there, lets you turn like a tandem, and then when you're done and ready to go, before you pick up speed, you just make sure you push off, and it's going to push all that air back to this axle now, and then you're ready to go. We do just recommend when you have these remotes, you do not keep them in the cup holder of your truck. You don't want to accidentally push on, take your air out of here, and then have to slam on the brakes on the highway and bald spotted tire. So put them in your glove box, put them away safely, but something that Transwest does here exclusively. While I have my remote out, I feel like I'm probably losing a little bit of battery power because all my lights are turning off, but we have these lights in front and behind these axles. So this is another part of a custom feature of this custom build. These customers wanted to be able to see front and back of their axles when they're driving home at night. They've got some narrow roads and some sharp turns to get home. They wanted these lights to also be remote controlled. So we have one of our air dump remotes here. Our tech was able to wire these lights in to one of these fobs, so you can actually sit in your truck up front and push on. They were on originally, and it will turn these lights on. So now you can see it's going to give you a good visibility right here, so you don't accidentally drop your trailer in a ditch when you're making a turn. And then you can also flip them back off with the remote. So when you're done, you don't need them anymore, and you don't want to blind people driving down the road, you can turn them off as well. So that is something they asked if it was possible. And our techs here, I love our techs here at Transwest. They don't like to say no. They like to make it happen for you. So they went ahead and did that, and I think it turned out really cool. Let's go ahead and step around to the back. As we step around, I'll show you guys our rear doors back here. We did do these on wraparound hinges. So that way your door didn't come right here. And this was as far as it would go. These ones actually wrap all the way around, so you can fully push them all out of your way. So less to battle in the wind on slopes. You can just get them all the way around and out of your way. Back here we did do a ramp over. So our rear doors close, and then we have a ramp that goes over them. So we have the ramp entrance. You guys want to leave it a step up, you can do that. I'm a big fan of ramps. These customers are as well. Up at top, we do have two of our 8-inch awning lights back there. So you'll have the visibility loading in and out of this space. In the center, we have our second camera. So that one's going to be our reverse view. You guys can see everything behind you, but what's great is that it also works when you're driving forward down the road. It's always on. So if you guys just want to see what's going on behind you traveling down the highway, see how close people are following to you, you'll have that as well. It's not just for reversing. And then we have taillights, 2 up high, 1 on each side. Built into our taillights is going to be a white reverse light. These guys are very bright. I know it looks like a small space to light up white. We've actually done a test in our wash bay when we turned it black in there, had a separate reverse light trailer, and then we had this trailer with a built-in reverse light. And these were brighter because now you get more of them. Instead of just having that one reverse light that was specific to reverse, you now have reverse in all 4 of these lights. We'll go ahead and step in here. Kind of work our way up to the front. We do have rubber mats on the floor back here. So these guys are removable if you want to take them out, take care of your floor, wash it out, and then throw these back in. These are your removable rubber mats. And then over on tail side, we got one of those OptiBrite LEDs per stall, as well as 1 stall fan per stall. So I have lots of visibility, and then manipulating airflow. If you're sitting there somewhere stagnant, you don't have the cross breeze, you can flip those on and have air movement across your horses. We have kick mats down low, and then we've got our axles coming in because we are 8 foot wide on this guy. But with 8Ks, it's gonna be your most minimal axle space taking up inside this trailer. Anytime you jump up from an 8K to a 9, you're gonna gain 4 more inches of wheel well clearance into this space. So it's gonna shrink your floor width by 4 inches. They're just a lot bigger of an axle. And we'll just come all the way up front and then work our way back. That seems to be the easiest. I know we've got a big trailer here. So this is your pass through back into that hound box. We already saw that. And then up at the front, so this one does not have a manger. This one's gonna have our escape door on it. So you guys can get in and out from this door right here. We do have a chest bar as a safety feature in case you do haul a horse in this stall. like them to not be able to step out of the trailer. And then we're gonna have 3 D-rings, so you can add a corner feeder there if you wanted to feed down low. But with each stall, you're automatically gonna get 2 tie rings, and that's gonna be the same all the way back. I love the versatility of the 2 tie rings. So you can hang your hay net on one, a hay bag on one, and then your horse on the other one. And then we do have a full drop down window on head side. So what we did with this divider, having our escape door right there, wanted to maybe use this space more as storage than for a horse. We do have your full height stud wall. So down here is going to be your full stud wall. If you add a stud wall to your trailer, you're going to get this solid down here. And then we have a solid piece over your shoulders right here, and then we do extended bars. So what that's doing is it's giving you a full height wall right here. If you do want to stack stuff in there, you run out of space up on your hay rack, you need to stack some more hay, stack bales of shavings, stack bags of grain or cubes or anything like that, you have the ability to stack high in this space and not just to where your stud wall ends right there. So that's something you can add. And what's really cool is you can pick and choose. So if they wanted the solid right here, they kept it solid, you can also make this bars as well. Or you can do just like they did, solid and bars. And then same with up here. So this is gonna be your head grill in between your mangers. They kept the solid up here as well. You guys can also pick and choose that. If you want to keep these bar type, if your horses would prefer to see each other and they don't fight over their feed, go ahead and make those bar type. If you want to leave them solid in case they do fight, you can leave them solid. We're going to have an 18-inch manger right here, and then 2 tie rings per stall, as well as your drop window. So from all these stalls back, we're going to have this 18-inch manger on them. And then all our dividers from here back are going to be a partial. So we're not full to the ground, but we're solid over shoulders, and then solid in between head grills. And then 2 foot offset. So if you guys notice, our stalls are just a little bit, they're not quite straight across, but they're not quite as angled on a slant as you guys would typically see with our standard 4 foot offset. So they still have an angle to them, but not quite as drastic. But being 8 foot wide, we still have plenty of space in each stall for these horses to fit. And then back to cameras. So this is going to be camera 3. This one's giving you the ability to see all of your horses from here forward. Do have roof vents on this in this stall area as well. So each horse is going to have a 2-way roof vent over it. They're those same roof vents we checked out in that hound box in your Midtack. So they're going to work 2 different directions. You can really change how you want your air coming in and out of this trailer. Have our standard insulated Cimarron roof up there. It's going to be full one piece. You'll get on any Cimarron that you build, whether it's a cargo trailer, a stock box, show cattle trailer, or horse trailer. It's about a 1/2 inch thick. It has a honeycomb core, and then it's fiberglass reinforced. Looks just like this up on top as well. And I know I have posted some videos on my social media about being able to get up there and just walk up and down on this roof. Whether you want to step up in front of your hay rack and check out how your roof is doing, you guys don't have to worry about standing on a roof bow. You can walk up and down anywhere. It's not going to dent. Adds a lot of structural integrity. Also dent resistant up to a baseball size hail. So these Cimarrons do withstand the hail very well. Helps with resale value, and then helps keep your temperature in here a little bit better for your horses. It's warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer. And I do have that on my Cimarron at home. My Cimarron outside is black sheeted, and it is still cooler in here in the summer than it is outside. And then last camera right over here in this corner, so we can see the second half of our trailer. This divider back here we did change to a telescoping because we were trying to keep this stall area, this trailer's already pushing legal limit. We wanted to keep it as short as we could, but still get everything that we wanted in here. So with that 2 foot offset, we also did a telescoping divider back here. And the very back, we do have a butt strap. So just another safety feature for your horse that's in this last stall right here. You want to get in and untie them before they exit. This butt strap will just remind them to stay in place until you're ready for them to back out. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this door. This door is gonna have our easy angle ladder up into our hay rack. Back here on these doors, we did our heavy duty cam latches as well, just like those side ramps. So you'll just release it from its lock right there. And you guys can see I have a lot of customers ask me if you can still have a rear ramp with an easy angle ladder. Yes, you absolutely can. The rear ramp folds over your easy angle ladder, and then your easy angle ladder comes all the way down to where you'll just step here and then climb all the way up in there. But I like the angle to it because it makes it a lot easier climbing in and out of that space. You don't have to try and fit your boots when you only have like 2-inch clearance. You're trying to shove your toe on the steps to go straight up if it did not have an angle to it. This is a lot safer. And then when you're done with it, it slides really well. You can do it with one hand. Sets on a base there, and then it also locks in place with the same one of these paddle latches, and it does have the same key as the rest of your doors and windows, so you can always lock it in. If you didn't have a side ramp or a rear ramp and you were concerned about it kind of rattling out of there and dragging down the road, don't have to worry about that when it locks in place. Go ahead and shut this door, and we can fold up that rear ramp and show you guys those rear ramp latches. So we're gonna have one of them on each side. So just because we are so big on this one, we went ahead and added 2 latches, but they're spring loaded. I think we did double springs on this one because that lifts very, very easily. And then this is gonna be the latch. So a lot of people, and I like to video this so my customers know when they get their trailer home and they're struggling, you don't wanna grab right here because right now I'm pushing up on it and it's not really giving me anything. What you're gonna wanna do is push at the base and then grab right here as well. So I'm pushing at both of these locations. Goes up and down a lot easier that way. Just angles, you don't wanna get it in a bind. Like right here, you're getting in a bind by shifting it like that. So just come back here and push up like from rack there. That way it lifts up and down straight, doesn't put itself in a bind. And then you've got all of your switches for lights and stall fans back here. We'll make our way around to our head side here. So we do have full drops on this side with the jail bars built in, so that way your horses can't stick their heads out as you're driving down the road. These windows will pop into place. That way they can stay down as you're driving. They're not going to catch the wind and do that wave effect. But if you did want to drop those jail bars down, you're just going to work this window until it gets to those gaps right there. And then your jail bars can fold down. And I like that way, so that way there's no moving parts anywhere in this jail bar. I just think the less moving parts, the less things that could possibly go wrong. So this is just full solid one piece. Now you can get in here, you can water your horses, you can add hay, you can add cubes, you can untie them, whatever you guys need to do. Just check on them after a long haul. You're stopped getting fuel, you want to let them stick their heads out and stretch their necks and their backs. You guys can do that as well. And then pop those back in and you're ready to go. All of our doors and windows are very airtight. They have these great seals on them. So when you do shut them, don't be afraid to slam them. They're made by horse people for horse people. So just give it a good shove. If you don't want that full airflow, you have these built-in bus windows. And then down below, we've got manger doors on all of these doors because we have mangers on 7 of our 8 stalls. So it all leads into that same space right there. Lots of good extra storage. There are lights in there as well for visibility, so you guys can see what you're doing and what you're grabbing out of there. And I know this part has some of your wheel well sticking into it there, but I think that works really well if you do want to set your grain bags in there. It will hold them upright. So you can use this space as kind of like a mobile feed station. We do have our amber turn signal right here. Same air ride axles, tires, air dump, and then those 2 lights on this side as well. Once we get past our axles, we have one large swing door right here, but then we also have this door, this oversized large flip-up door in front of it. So this one's going to take up 2 of those manger doors. And we do have a second spare tire. So this one's spare tire number 2. Our front one's up in its normal standard position. We wanted to have a second one if you do travel a lot of miles, you're on the road a lot and you want to have two, this is a great spot to put it. This big manger door here is on gas shocks, so it will close itself, and then once you get it picked up a little bit, it will open itself as well. So really nice, especially to have that spare tire located there, but then also great access if you want to set like maybe all of your spare tire changing tools, your ramp, all that can fit in there as well. And it's just super easy to access when you have this large flip up door. And then in front of that we have our escape door on our front stud wall. So if you're utilizing this as storage, we do have a fold down step, so you guys can get in and out of this space, get in there to whatever you guys are storing in there very easily with that fold down step. And then we do have two latches on this one just because for safety purposes. If you did have a horse there and they were messing with that latch, they will never be able to get out with that secondary butterfly latch right there. And then back to our hound box right here, fold down step with our access door right here, and that same gate right here. And then because of this gate, what we did with this window right here is we took out the jail bars, because the jail bars were just going to interfere when they do come down, they come down at an angle. So they were just going to interfere with those bars right there. But because we already have that gate right there, it acts as jail bars. So you can drive with this window down and get that air movement in that hound box right there and not have to worry about them being able to jump out. And then safety as well for this one, in case those dogs that like to be mouthy are in there messing with this latch, they cannot open this door. And back up to the front of our front tack. I mentioned this was mimicking our dual tack setup. So we have another swing out on this side as well. So if you're working off either side of this trailer, you're going to be able to get your saddles at either side. You're also going to be able to get in and walk through as well. So if you need to get in and get back to the other side pretty easily, you're not having to walk around the front of your tow vehicle or around the back of this trailer. And now you have 10 saddle racks total. Over here we've got all of our blanket bars. And I mentioned last week on my video about that 6-pole swing out. This one's going to be that right there. So if you guys watched that one, this is your 6-pole swing out. We do have that bust window behind, so getting ventilation across your saddle pads right there. If you put them up wet and you want them dry when you get home, just open that and get some air circulation right there. And then our brush tray down below, just great storage, kind of a catch-all for your smaller items and your brushes, mane and tail detangler, fly spray, any kind of loose piece that I ever come across, I always end up throwing in there. So every once in a while I will dig through that and kind of clean it out, but it is really large, catches a lot of things very easily. All these saddle racks are fully adjustable as well. And then we do have your fold down step, so super easy to get in and out on this side, and our large oversized 42-inch swing door. So even with those saddle racks out, you can still get in and out very easily. We did do silver metallic exterior sheeting on this trailer. You guys can do whites, you can do black, or you can do charcoal if you want the darker gray. But this one's going to be silver. We carried our aluminum extrusion all the way to the front of the gooseneck. That aluminum extrusion adds structural integrity. It adds just a lot of good support. So on a trailer that's this long and we have that many breaks in our extrusion with those manger doors, we carried it all the way to the front, just helped beef it up. Did a lot of extra heavy duty upgrades on this one to ensure that it did do its job. Now up front, we do have those dual electric over hydraulic jacks, those equalizer jacks. We've got our first spare tire up here. We do have 2 battery boxes on this one. This one's just going to be for extra storage. It's wide open right now. Over here we do have our 2 batteries, and we did go 2. Typically we'll just have 1 standard. We did add a second one just because the sheer amount of lights on this trailer. Make sure they stayed powered. We have our battery disconnect switch right here. So green means it's on, so you can run your lights and stuff without having to be plugged into your tow vehicle. But because there are so many lights and you just can't remember if you left on the one that's in the hound box or not, flip this to red when you're done with it. If you are plugged into your tow vehicle with your 7-pin, you'll want to leave it green because it will charge off of your 7-pin. This RedArc charger ensures that it stays charged. It will not just trickle charge, but it will supercharge. It will push a lot of extra power to these batteries, keep them maintained and topped off for you guys. And then over there on that sidewall, we've got our Dexter Airflex box in there. So this is going to be working our air ride system. Pretty easy to use, very foolproof. It is auto leveling, so you don't have to worry about anything. You have an on and an off switch, and then a raise and a lower valve right there. So what you're gonna do, what we always recommend is turn it to on, but leave it at lower as you're loading your horses, because it does add about 4 inches. It makes your ramps a little bit steeper. So while you're getting ready and loading everything, on and lower, and it's just gonna be an air compressor. It's just gonna build air in this box. When you're ready to go, turn it to raise, and it will push all this air built in the box back to your airbags at your axles, and then you'll be on air ride as you're driving. When you're done with it, you guys are just parking somewhere, off and lower is just fine. If you're stopped for fuel, anything like that, you stop for dinner, you guys just leave it on. But stopped for the day, off and lower is just fine. If you're gonna be stopped overnight for long periods of time, off, lower, and then your drain valve is right here. This is gonna pull all the air out of those bags. And we like to do that, and we do recommend it, so that way you don't ever build condensation in your lines. Condensation is gonna be water. We don't want water in our air lines. So that's why you say that. If you're overnight, long periods of time, just make sure you drain it so that guy's all the way at 0. 7-pin stores over here. Like that it has a home. And then over here is just gonna be your crank for manual crank if you accidentally kill your batteries. That's why I love these equalizer jacks, because they have a manual override and you guys can crank them up and down if you're ever in an emergency situation and those jacks just won't work for you. We have an additional 16-inch awning light over here. So it's going to have that visibility into this space if you're hooking up or unhooking. You guys can now see what you're doing with that extra light right there. So we did go over a lot. Before I forget one more thing, electric over hydraulic brakes on this one. So that's going to be your hydraulic fluid reservoir for those electric over hydraulic disc brakes. This spec sheet is 2 pages long, so it's got a lot going on. If you guys have any questions, you want to build something similar to this, you want to change a couple things, I would love to help you out with your custom Cimarron build. My name is Michaela Hall. You guys can email Michaela.Hall@transwest.com. Shoot me a text, give me a call. My cell phone's 303-918-6367. This trailer specifically can be referenced by using 5N250-767. There's also going to be a link to our website in the description of this video. You guys can always click on that, see your full photo gallery, reference this video. But again, there was a lot to go over. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I would love to work with you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.